This is KVUE News Daybreak.
Live look outside. We're talking some sticky conditions to kick off your Tuesday, and also rain chances on the way.
Drama at the state capitol. The final moments of the 85th legislative session. Explosive, to say the least. So what got these lawmakers so fired up? And a new plan from city leaders that could help drop rent prices across the city of Austin. Good morning to you, and thank you for joining us for KVUE News Daybreak at 4:30. I'm Brian Mays. Let's begin this Tuesday with a look at what we're tracking with Storm Team meteorologist Erica Lopez.
Good morning, Brian. Well, we're waking up to temperatures on the warm side, humidity on the high side. It's very, very sticky out there as you're heading out the door. Humidity percentage at 90% and dew points in the mid to upper 60s this morning. Winds are calm coming in from the south, though, so that's just increasing moisture levels slowly but surely that are going to hang around our viewing area for quite a while. Let's talk your forecast for this Tuesday, though. Small rain shower chances, 20%. My main concern for that 20% for rain shower chances will mainly be in the hill country throughout the entire day. We've had some on and off showers this morning for the hill country already, but that's going to be our main concern. Other than that, lots of cloud coverage out there. Highs will stay under 90 degrees. Our forecasted high here in Austin today, about 87 degrees. Brian, back to you.
That is just racist behavior on our Texas House floor.
Texas lawmakers fired up and physical in the final hours of the legislative session. And this morning, the fallout continues. ABC's Kenneth Moten reports it's all over the so-called Sanctuary Cities bill.
This morning, Texas House scuffle. Lawmakers at the state capitol Monday in a heated face-to-face, hurling death threats.
There was a threat made from Representative Rinaldi to put a bullet in one of my colleagues' head.
Democrats in a shoving match with Republicans. The reason? A massive protest in the building sparked by a tough new anti-sanctuary cities law in Texas. Tensions escalated when GOP Representative Matt Rinaldi told a group of Hispanic representatives that he had called ICE on demonstrators.
That is just racist behavior on our Texas House floor.
I just know they were saying stuff to me. I was saying stuff to them. Both of them designed to incite each other. All sides were emotional.
SB 4 signed into law by Governor Greg Abbott, a staunch President Trump supporter. The law threatens to jail or remove police chiefs and sheriffs from office for providing some protections to undocumented immigrants. Police can also ask the immigration status of anyone they stop. SB 4, which has protesters in Texas promising legal action, at the center of the debate over Trump's controversial immigration policies. Part of the president's executive order threatening to take dollars away from sanctuary cities, temporarily blocked in April by a federal court. A California judge called the president's executive order on sanctuary cities too broad. That chaos in the Texas House came on the last day of the session. Kenneth Moten, ABC News, Washington.
A new law heading to the governor's desk supposed to make school buses safer for kids. It requires 3-point seat belts and was inspired by a tragedy that happened in Houston. Back in 2015, another driver hit a Houston Independent school bus, sending it flying off the highway. 2 students died, 2 others were injured. Shay 9 Chapman lost her 14-year-old daughter in the crash. Her daughter's bus had lap belts, but the students weren't wearing them. Earlier this year, she took her story to Austin, and lawmakers listened.
This isn't bells and whistles. We're not asking for fancy stadium signs. We're not asking for AstroTurf. That was a tragic, tragic bus accident here in Houston.
You never think this will happen to you. I never thought it would happen to me. Don't wait until it happens to you. We can do things now to prevent it.
Lawmakers passed a similar bill before. Back in 2007, Governor Rick Perry signed a law that also required 3-point seat belts on new school buses. The difference is the previous law made it dependent on state funding. This time around, there's no state funding issue, just a mandate to spend smarter. The bill does allow districts to opt out if they can't afford it. If the governor signs it this summer, it would go into effect only for newly purchased school buses beginning next school year. A growing crisis inside the White House this morning, some calling for President Donald Trump's son-in-law and top advisor Jared Kushner to take a leave of absence. Kushner under scrutiny for his contacts with Russia. Some accusing him of trying to create a secret communication channel with Moscow, even after intelligence agencies found that Russia had meddled in the presidential election. Kushner's not a target of the FBI's investigation, but they do plan on questioning him. The president is fighting back, coming to Kushner's aid. In a statement to the New York Times, President Trump said, quote, "Jared's doing a great job for the country. I have total confidence in him. He's respected by virtually everyone," end quote. President Trump condemning North Korea's launch of yet another missile into the Sea of Japan happening on Sunday. The short-range missile flew hundreds of miles, landing in Japanese waters. It's raising concern from one of America's closest allies. President Trump taking to Twitter yesterday, saying, quote, "North Korea has shown a great disrespect for their neighbor, China, by shooting off yet another ballistic missile, but China is trying hard." And now many Americans fear North Korea will one day be able to reach the United States with a nuclear missile.
The bottom line is it would be a catastrophic war if this turns into combat, if we're not able to resolve this situation through diplomatic means.
Japan's prime minister says he's now working with U.S. officials and will, quote, "take specific action to deter North Korea," end quote. Two women accused of killing the half-brother of North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un will be in court today. Kim Jong-nam died at a Malaysian airport back in February. The two women accused of smearing his face with a nerve agent, a chemical described by the United Nations as a weapon of mass destruction. The suspects from Indonesia and Vietnam are the only two facing charges in his death. All new this morning, former Panamanian dictator Manuel Noriega has died at the age of 83, and today we could learn the cause of death. President Juan Carlos Varela of Panama made the announcement about his death on Twitter just before midnight. The one-time United States ally was ousted as Panama's dictator by an American invasion back in 1989. Noriega later served a 17-year drug sentence in the U.S. He accused Washington of a conspiracy to keep him behind bars. In January of this year, a court granted him house arrest to prepare for surgery on a brain tumor detected last year. He's survived by his wife and daughters. Officials at Seton Healthcare investigating suspicious activity within their computer network. This comes after a threat was detected early Monday. Few details have been released, but Seton officials say no patients are affected by the issue. A draft under Code Next, Austin's initiative to rewrite land development codes, could lead to cheaper rent across the city of Austin. The draft would allow more homeowners to convert their garages into garage apartments, and more housing means more affordable living for families in the area. The city originally struck a compromise back in 2015, saying garage apartments would only be allowed to be built in certain types of zoning areas, covering nearly 9,000 lots citywide. But the proposed changes under Code Next could double the amount of neighborhoods where it would be allowed. Do you feel guilty taking days off of work? Well, if you do, you're not alone. A new study found 54% of Americans did not use all of their vacation days last year. Most people said it's because they did not want to lose out on a promotion or a raise. Here's what's interesting. Researchers say people who used all the vacation time they had actually had a slightly better chance of getting ahead at work. So don't be afraid. Take those vacation days if you've got them. That's something I will never have to worry about. Erica, I always try to take all of my vacation time.
You know what's funny, Brian? You and me were the ones who used our vacation yesterday.
That's right, exactly.
I'm not one of those 54%, that's for sure. Especially when we have some great weather like we had for the most part yesterday. Still talking rain shower chances in our forecast, though, and high humidity. This is what you're waking up to this morning, Austin. 70-degree temperatures. It's cloudy out there, very muggy. We have a 20% chance of an isolated sprinkle, which is mainly for the hill country. We have still some very, very light showers just west of us. Temperature-wise, close to 70 degrees for the whole viewing area. This is what we've seen the last 3 hours or so, and I think this will be the trend for today. Just on and off, very isolated showers like we saw in Mason and Llano County a couple of hours ago. Here's how today is going to play out, though. Lots of clouds out there. Will decrease some of the cloud coverage to a partly sunny afternoon, and temperatures will stay under 90 degrees. So that's really good news when humidity level will be on the high side. As far as your rush hour forecast, the only concern about, again, a 20% chance of an isolated shower. But Brian, I think the best chance will be for the hill country today. We'll keep an eye out on any of those storms that do possibly develop. Back to you.
Erica, thank you. Uber and Lyft drivers back on the road in Austin today. This comes more than a year after they lost a controversial vote to require fingerprint background checks for drivers. KVUE's Jason Puckett decided to find out for himself and put both ride-sharing companies to the test.
All right, so you open up the app.
We tried Uber first. They started by verifying my car.
I have a 2001 newer car with 4 doors.
And getting a lot of information. Driver's license, social security number, address, car insurance, and even
photo of your registration. They should really tell you this stuff, that they need this stuff in advance.
After a quick trip to the car,
boom, done. Okay, what's next?
The driver's app says you're being processed and gives you an intro video.
Okay, so Uber in the process right now to see if we got confirmed. Let's try Lyft.
Lyft asked for the same information, requiring one more trip to the car, a nice profile pic.
Done. That's awful. We're using it.
And done. Towards the end of my car washing experience, just hours later, I got a text, Lyft, telling me I was clear to drive. So I did.
I'm a little nervous, to be honest. So we're going to test this out with a coworker here at KVUE, actually my boss.
Our EP, Sarah, was gracious enough to be my test dummy.
Does that alarm you that this is my first time? It actually does. Actually, I'm going to buckle up here.
But my first ride was a success, and I earned a whopping $2.50.
There you go. He's off and running. As of this morning, Uber has not accepted Jason as a driver yet. They say it could take up to 48 hours. Still ahead, how far would you go to save some cash? This morning, the Arlington teens in trouble with police for hunting makeup. It's where they were hunting it that's a bit strange. You can see from the video. That's coming up. Summer is right around the corner, and that also means tick season is here. Why experts say this season will be the worst for ticks and the huge impact they're having on some children. Stay with us.